part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Hello. Welcome back. Another week, another episode. This is the Ball Card Show, the sports podcast.
For the Sports Collector.
I'm Jason Otero.
I'm Gary LeMaster.
And as always, we are brought to you by the Press Play Podcast Network.
2 weeks in a row, bro.
2 weeks in a row of episodes.
Y'all don't know how blessed you are.
Yeah. And recorded in less than 7 days. This is a record for us.
It is. We are slamming it. We were thinking tomorrow, but we got to play golf in the morning. And
That's
then
right.
You have some event.
Yes.
So we were like, we better record on Thursday night again.
Yep. Thursday night
It's been a minute since we've done Thursday nights. Since like before junior high basketball season started.
Yeah. Remember back then in the day, we were brought to him by Busch Light. Be popping tops.
I don't want to play that game.
I know. I don't do that. I mean, I still pop tops now.
Yeah.
But not like I used to.
Listen, here's the reality. We talk about this all the time. We're old. And every time we go a little harder in the paint than we should, it's like, shouldn't have done that.
Do I want to lose 2 days of feeling normal?
I don't want to do that again.
Normal's already unhealthy enough. Yeah, I agree. This is a really fun episode because you and I are both excited about a prospecting one.
Yeah, and that's rare. I'm excited because you're wearing Andy Reid clothes right now.
I don't know if we need to talk about it. We definitely don't need to describe it.
Remember those weather balloons that we shot down from China?
Oh, now we do a fat jokes on top of it. I thought you meant I actually resembled Andy Reid.
I thought the Andy Reid joke was the fat joke.
Oh my gosh. Well, pot, meat, kettle.
I am a huge human. No question about it.
Yep. Anyway, so before we jump into this, which this episode is going to be kind of breaking down, we're going to talk about 15 players. 15?
12
players that are either talked about a lot or to keep an eye out for that were released in Bowman 2023, which so far has been a really cool product.
I just picked up a case of blasters.
But you've been talking about this for weeks.
Yep. And you're really annoyed with me.
I'm not annoyed at all.
You want me to rip it immediately.
Well, I am annoyed about this. So this is where the hobby can take you when profit is more important than
that's how you're going to spend
enjoying the hobby. Yeah, I do feel this way. So you bought a case of blasters at a reasonable price at wholesale. Yeah. Okay. Between the time of ordering that to now, market value is going up
30%.
Yeah. So you have the option of, making some money.
About a 60% return probably instantly.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this is the product for you.
It is.
And you have a case of it cheaper than you're ever going to get it.
Probably.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, probably.
With what we're seeing with this class. And you're not going to open it.
I'm one of three things will happen. Option A, I'll take the show this weekend and sell the case.
Don't do it.
Option B, I don't even take it to the show. I stick it in the closet for 5 years.
Risky.
Option C, I rip it. Mm-hmm. Now, if I rip it, there's about I'd say there's a 70% chance I at least break even. There's a 20% chance I make a little bit, and there's a 5% chance I make more than I could just selling the case.
And there's a 100% chance that you would thoroughly enjoy ripping it.
That's true.
That you would flood your sales inventory with really good $1 and $2 stuff that you get back really quickly.
Yeah, that's what I said. I at least
and you might hit a whale.
It's possible. It's possible.
You'd rather go sell it to some sneakerheads who can flip it for another $200.
They can't flip it for another $200. If I sell it, I'm not selling it for less than 16.
Just don't sell it. Let's open it right now.
No, I'm not going to open it right now.
Come on, let's open it right now.
No.
Let's do it.
No, it's in the truck, though.
I know. Anyway, while he's out buying cases, I have been spending my time doing a lot of these.
Just thrifting.
Thrifting, baby. I've been thrift shopping. I have been jumping in all of these 50 cent and 75 cent sales only if I see that they have like thousands of cards going up.
Correct.
And I check to see the range. If it's ultra modern for the first 10 pictures, I'm kind of checked out. If I see stuff, for me, it's like late 90s through like 2012. If that stuff's there for baseball and football, sign me up. And let's just say I've been signing me up a lot this week.
Although you got frustrated the other night. I kept sniping you on this one sale.
It wasn't just you.
Yeah, it was a bunch of people jumping in. And I texted you and I was like, you better get your fingers a little quicker, bro. And you were like, I'm out. I'm not doing this with 10 people, grumpy.
Yeah, well, it's true. So how it works on these, a lot of them are called claim sales. Somebody will say, hey, I'm going through this collection. They'll put like 9 cards or 6 cards on a grid. You just say which number for the card you want, and then they add up the totals and you PayPal them later and they ship it over. That's how that works. But whenever you see one that has a ton of people interested, you'll see all these comments and they're like, here we go. And if you're in one of these sales and the first 10 photos, the people are just snapping 3-4 numbers right away, you're going to have a really hard time getting in there unless you know that you have the quickest internet and a really fast thumb.
Yeah.
And then what happens is, psychologically, you feel like you might be missing out, so you lower your standards a little bit.
You do. I don't. My standards always stay high.
I'm the one talking here. You can make bad decisions about your Bowman case, but I'm talking about, but when I see people doing that a lot, I have learned that it's better for me to just back off of that sale, or just play the refresh game and 1 out of every 5 pictures I get to first. But that sale had a ton of like that, early 2000s through 2015, like Topps Chrome refractors. For
like the first 30 pictures, and then it got sideways. I went to bed, so it worked out fine for me.
There was some baseball stuff in there. The guy had no idea.
Yeah, I probably bought 35, 40 cards. I spent $18. It'll get me $50 worth of inventory.
Well, and that's the big thing. So my $1 and $2 inventory boxes have been really low. So I needed to beef that up. So I went kind of nuts on the 50 cent, because a lot of these guys, if they know they're moving a ton of cards, they have no problem with it. And I can get $1 or $2 out of a lot of those. Yep. So
for sure.
It looks really good.
I got a Topps Chrome Nolan Arenado rookie in a 50 cent sale.
Here's a few you missed out on while you went to bed on that sale. That's just half of a picture of some of my stuff.
Yeah. There you go.
You told me
I went to bed at the right time.
Yeah, you did.
Got a bunch of mid 2000s bazooka cards, which are kind of cool. I see some Chipper. I see a Topps Chrome Jeremy Pena rookie. CJ Abrams. I'm not so sure on CJ. Paul Pierce is nice. Yeah. Solid work for 75 cents a piece.
Yeah. What was that? Oh, Shane Vereen autograph on card. Come on.
Find you a Patriots fan.
Nolan Arenado.
Speaking of which, if you're listening and you are in the southern part of the state of Ohio this weekend, the monthly show at Wheelersburg is on Saturday. I finally got a table there. I've been waiting for 6 months. Finally got a table. Had a table for you, and you were like, nah, bro, I can't go.
I can't. I got obligations.
I got other things to do.
That's right. But anyway, I had a lot of fun with that, and you can be impulsive on those sales. You're like, man, I went kind of crazy, because you know how it is in breaks, and you know how it is in like claim sales that are not cheap.
Yeah.
And then the guy's like, hey, here's what I have. They send a photo, and you're like, oh my God, this is going to be so expensive. He's like, $29.50.
Yeah. You're like, deal.
I'm your guy.
Yeah. Let me send you that Venmo right now.
You picked up a really cool card and in a slab that I've never seen. I got to be honest, it's the coolest feeling slab.
Yeah. The show in Cleveland last weekend was interesting. And I bought this card. I've actually bought probably 15 cards from this guy and sold like 8 or 9 of them at the show last weekend. But this is a Randy Moss downtown, Patriots uniform downtown from 2021 Optic. Okay, so the card itself is a cool card. This guy had used this company, Rare Edition. They are in Silicon Valley. They've got some venture capital money behind them. I had heard of them. I had seen what they do. I was intrigued by it, but they are expensive. I think it's like $50 to slab your cards with Rare Edition. Now, they do some interesting things. They give you access to the grader's notes and corner pictures and edge pictures and everything else via a QR code on the back of their slab. But the slab itself is ridiculous. It's not made out of plastic. It feels like it's made out of like high-end plexiglass.
Yeah.
Almost like what an iPhone is made out of is what it feels like. It's probably 5/8 of an inch thick. No, not 5/8. It's probably 3/8 of an inch.
I was
thick.
at like 7/32, but
more than a quarter, but not a half. It is heavy. Like it has girth. Yeah. Like it is
a girthy slab.
Girthy. And it actually comes with a rubber bumper that goes around the outside edge of it to protect it. And the looks really nice. The card presents really well in it.
I'm more interested in some of the features that you get with the grading.
Yeah, like you can scan the QR code. It'll take you right to their website, show you all the stuff. It does have subgrades, so the back is subgraded.
Yep.
They appear to grade pretty harshly. Like the card I'm looking at got a 9 on centering, and I think at BGS it would have been a minimum of a 9.5. I would consider cracking it and resubbing it if I could figure out how to crack it, because I don't know how you can crack it. I got it for a great price. I've got it. If anybody's looking for a downtown Randy Moss in a Patriots uniform, the last 2 raw sales are like $197 and $192. I've got $200 on this thing in a nice slab.
Did you say, and I missed it, but you, with your subgrades that you get, they'll give you images where you can look up and they'll show you the defects that you've seen.
Correct.
That's worth some money to me.
Yeah. I don't know that it's worth $50 to have it slab, but I will say this.
Well, hear me out. Hear me out. So let's say you have a very valuable card.
Yeah.
I don't know if the rate is prorated. So if it's a flat 50.
Yep.
Okay. So for me, I mean, it's a risk to put that in the hands of anyone else.
Yep.
However, before you would send it off to PSA and pay who knows what based off the value of the card, you could have that look. You could see what they see, figure out how to crack it.
See, if I was going to do that, I would use a company like FCG, who grades really fairly and really consistently, and I trust their grade, and it's $14.
Do they do images too, though?
No.
That's what I would want to see.
Not images of the card, but they do give you a sheet, and they circle the areas on the card, and so they give you the notes. But if I was pre-grading, I would spend $14 to get it pre-graded by a company that I trust their grading process, and it has a slab that you can crack just by twisting with your hands. Yeah. I think you could run this thing over with an 18-wheeler and it wouldn't break.
I mean, if we're not sponsored by them yet, we should be by the end of this episode.
Yeah, this slab is just really, really nice. I don't know how else to phrase it. At the show last weekend after I bought it, lots of people were picking it up and they were like, "Holy crap!" Yeah, like, it's just a really nice slab from an interesting company that seems to be planning to be here for a while.
What's the name again? Rare
Edition.
Rare Edition.
Yep.
Email us, Gary@vinegarsweat.com. All right, let's jump into the heart of this episode.
Bowman time.
So let's make sure we both understand this segment.
Okay.
We're going to call this buy, sell, or borrow.
Okay.
Meaning buy, this is a good buy. Right now, at market, this is a player that I would consider a buy. Sell means it's probably as valuable as it's ever going to be. Get your money now and move on. Doesn't mean they're good or bad. It just means this is what we think is going to happen based off of the player. And then borrow means sell it now and buy it back after the next release for a discount, because it probably is a hold, but
get free money.
Yeah.
And
if
then
you pull
cash out again when they get called up.
Yeah. All right. You're going to pronounce names this time.
Okay.
So that I don't get made fun of.
And I'm really proud of you because you actually went and did some research on all these guys. Like, you have actual baseball knowledge to share with us based on what you watched.
I watched videos, scouting videos. I read reports from multiple websites.
Yeah.
And I brought my own expertise opinion.
Good work.
I don't know how good it'll be, but here we go.
All right. So we'll start with probably my second or third favorite prospect in this set from a long-term standpoint. Los Angeles Angels prospect Nelson Rada, who is 17 years old in low A. We'll start with Nelson Rada. He is a 4-tool, fringy 5-tool player. I don't know that power is ever going to get to plus power, but it's going to be okay power. Yeah. The field of hit is plus, and he's so young, and his plate discipline is really good. His swing, I'm sure you'll have some notes on his swing, but what I've seen of the swing is it is not anything overly complicated. It's what you see from a lot of international guys who probably had a handshake deal at 14 and went straight into one of the academies, right? And just worked on keeping things as simple as possible and putting the bat on the ball.
Yeah, so he's really fast. I think he's being introduced to a whole new level of pitching. So far in 2023, he's struggling.
Yep.
He was carrying close to a 300 average. So far this year, he's around 176, but he still shows discipline at the plate.
He's 4.5 years younger than the average low A player.
He's being exposed to a whole nother level. For me, I couldn't say that I would necessarily buy right now unless it was on the cheap.
But that's the thing. His stuff right now is on the cheap. Now his low number autos and things like that are not on the cheap.
Right.
But you can buy his base Chrome cards before shipping and tax on eBay for $1 or $2 right now. And I could very much see him, if not this year, next year, making that jump that Jackson Churio made. Yeah. Where it just goes, it clicks, and now it's like, now I spent $1 on a card and I can sell it for $15.
The other thing that could happen just as well, based off of what I've seen with him, is it could be 2 or 3 years before that clicks for him.
It could be, but I really think he could have a Jonathan Clase type of move, especially if it doesn't click this year. Jonathan Clase last year in Bowman was a semi-chase. He was like a tier 2 player for the Mariners. Very young, very fast. Not sure whether there was power there or not. Kind of struggled last year, did steal a lot of bases, and then this year in high A through the first 17 games was hitting like .430 with 7 home runs, stole 15 bases, walking more than he struck out. And he's already been moved up to Double A.
Yeah.
As a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll see. It's
and
definitely.
Rada's a guy that I don't float stuff like this all that often, but know a couple of guys who work in the minor leagues and who have been MILB and Major League Baseball agents, and they've all said the same thing about this kid. He's the real deal.
Yeah.
He's that guy.
Verified sources?
Guys who
on the record?
Yeah. Yeah. on the record, guys who represented guys who are still in Major League Baseball that have been all-stars. Yeah.
So your official decision would be buy, sell, or buy?
He's a buy for me. Okay. Nelson Rada's a buy for me right now. Yeah.
I'm gonna say sell for me. I just don't see it yet. This is someone I could be very wrong about. He's only 17. If you have him and it takes off, you're going to be sitting pretty. So if the value's there, I would consider it. But let's say I bought a blaster and I hit something low number, I'm probably selling. That's me for this one. Up next, Gabriel Martinez. Oh, you're supposed to say it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's an easy one to pronounce. Yeah. Gabriel Martinez. Let me get your thoughts on Gabe Martinez first, and then I'll give you mine.
Okay, I'm going to just make it as simple as possible. So 2021, he hits 330. His power has improved. That was one thing that they're wondering about. Here's part of the issue. The Blue Jays need him to be what they hope he can be so bad right now.
Correct.
So there's a little bit of that can kind of push a little hype on players. He lacks range. To just based off of what I'm seeing. So he's not going to shine yet. He's going to have to be in a little better shape for that.
The bat is going to have to play.
It's going to have to be consistently bringing power numbers.
The bat's going to have
extra
to play.
Base hits, all that kind of stuff. But that's what I'm seeing with him. For me, I'm not buying him.
Okay. He's a guy for me who is so cheap right now, and the ceiling. So for me, a lot of times buys, especially early in a release cycle for Bowman, the buys are guys with super high ceilings, but huge variance, right? They could never get to the majors. But if it all clicks,
sure,
they're all stars.
Well, on the rest of these, let's go. If you have an idea of what they're costing right now, you don't have to look at it. But if you know, that maybe would be
Gabe
better.
Martinez, again, same range as Nelson Rada, base chromes.
Yeah.
Couple bucks, $3. Yeah. Can't go wrong there. You can probably get paper color for pretty cheap.
Yep.
Those are the types of guys that I like to stash because the potential return is so good that, and it's such a cheap bet. Very few Bowman firsts that are chrome or paper color are you going to lose money on in the first couple years after their release. You're always going to be able to at least get what you got out of them because the potential's still there.
Yep. Okay, you go next.
Matt Mervis.
Cubbies.
I'm all in on Matt Mervis.
I am too.
I'm all in on Matt Mervis. He's the oldest guy on this list for us. He's 25. Was undrafted out of college. Undrafted out of high school, then undrafted out of college.
I love it.
Went to the Cape and just raked. And then got signed for almost no money and went to low A and just raked. And then went to high A and just raked. 2021,
he had 78 extra base hits.
Yeah. Yeah. He just rakes. That's all he does. He just hits. Yeah. Now he's a first baseman, so he's capped. Like he's not going to provide a lot of defensive value. He's not going to steal bases, but he's a guy who any given year could slash 300, 400, 500.
He already has 7 doubles and 6 home runs right now.
Yeah, he's a monster.
6'4", 225. Here's what's unique.
Why is he not the first baseman for the Cubs right now? Why is it Eric Hosmer? Why?
Yep. Here's the unique thing with his swing. With that frame, you usually have guys that are clubbing the ball. He has a compact swing, which is not easy to do with that frame. When you think about how much more area of movement is in play.
His hands don't get loud. Everything's quiet there. I'm all in on Matt Mervis. Yep. I don't think there's any pitching that is going to flummox him.
My God, the use of fly. Oh
like that?
That was beautiful.
Yeah, there's no pitching that's going to mess with his head. He's not one of those guys that's trying to hit the ball out of the park every time. He will punish mistakes, and he'll take a 10 pitch at bat and just take what you give him and slap one the other way. He's not a dead pull hitter. I'm all in on the kid. He's 25. I understand that hurts his hobby value, but again, that's why he's a buy for me.
Yeah.
If you put a gun to my head and said you have $10,000 and you have to invest it all in either Matt Mervis or Drew Jones, I'm putting it all on Matt Mervis, and I won't even think about it.
I would be in the same camp right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a buy. If you hit something massive, maybe borrow, but I don't think he's going to get cheaper.
Well,
this is the type of player.
Yeah, he's going to be up this year.
He's 6'4", 225 with a compact swing, and he's going to hit it. He could do 20, 30, 40 home runs.
He's very reminiscent of Ryan Mountcastle to me with a more compact swing.
I can see that. Yeah. So he's going to be talked about a lot because he's going to hit home runs, and that's going to be push and press. So we're both buys.
Yeah.
Maybe borrows if you had a huge card to get your money.
Yeah. I mean, but even then, that wouldn't even be a borrow. That would just be a cash out because I don't see his stuff. If he comes up and performs, his stuff's going to just go up more. Like the borrow is they're 3 years away. I cash out now and then I get it back 2 releases from now for half of what I paid. And I get free money and then I cash out again.
Yeah. Yep. Love him. Up to the next one. Popular name right now.
This is my probably second favorite prospect in this release. Davison De Los Santos. You talk about raw power. If the only reason he's not an 80 grade raw power is because he isn't super tall.
And his upper half is not caught up yet with what his lower half is capable of.
Right. But man, the kid is good. And so Davison De Los Santos, for me this year with this Bowman release, is like, and I'm not saying that he's going to have the hobby hype that this guy got, but he is the Anthony Volpe to the Drew Jones, Jason Dominguez from 2020. Everybody was chasing Drew Jones, chasing Jason Dominguez, buying the Yankees in breaks. and they were selling their Volpes for nothing to recoup, to try to get back in to get more Jason Dominguez.
Yep.
That's this kid. Everybody's chasing Drew Jones, paying through the nose for the Diamondbacks, and you're going to be able to pick this kid up. He's not cheap because a lot of people already know who he is, but he's way cheaper than he should be.
Yeah.
And again, this is a guy that I could see make a 2 or 3 level climb during the season this year.
Yeah, he could make a climb. So far in the season, he's hitting 225 at 2A. So this is a big leap.
Well, the jump from high A to double A
is
is
a big
the hardest
leap,
one. And he's in the Southern League. This is an important point. So if you're looking at minor league stats right now in double A.
If you're looking at minor league stats right now as you listen to our podcast.
But if you're
you might be the only bigger nerd than Gary when it comes to
researching prospects.
Let me back to my point.
If you're researching prospects, this is actually a really important point when you're looking at Southern League batters.
If you're researching prospects.
Okay? Southern League this year is the testing ground for Major League Baseball. They've introduced a new baseball. They're not giving pitchers rosin. The baseballs are pre-tacked, and there are some crazy spin rates happening. Drew Romo is a prospect for the Rockies. He's a catcher. Pretty highly thought of prospect. Defense first, but bats coming along. He's hitting 185 right now. His WRC plus league. So 100 is the average hitter. Mm-hmm. Anything below 100, you're below average. Anything above 100, you're above average. He's hitting 185. His WRC plus is like 106. Mm-hmm. That's how dominant pitching is in the Southern League right now, because these baseballs are
about to be outruled.
They are sticking to these pitchers' hands. They're like Yuri Perez, who's a top 5 prospect in baseball, is in the Southern League right now. And it's almost unfair. The kid's 6'8". His release point is almost 6 feet closer to the mound than anybody else, to the plate than anybody else. Coming into this year, his fastball had induced vertical break of about 19 inches, which is crazy. It's running almost 22 inches.
So all of that to say,
take batting average in a grain of salt.
Well, I think
for double A now in the Southern League.
That, but I think that's a big leap. So the big thing to watch with him will be, hey, are we seeing strides within a month or two?
Yeah,
there with that one. The raw power is there.
That's a really good point when you're looking at minor league prospects. You can't look at a season total. Break the season into months.
Yep.
And if you see progression, that's what you're looking for.
Yep.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So the swing wasn't.
Bat speed is crazy.
Let me talk.
Sorry.
Let
I'm excited about
I'm
this
letting
kid.
you do this.
Go do your thing.
We have a lot of names to get through.
This kid's just exciting for me.
The swing, I would say it's not the smoothest, but the rotation is the best. His follow through on it, and it's almost like if you watch golf, there's some golfers who have tremendous amount of lag. Their hips are all the way through. You should always have a little bit, but there's some where it just kind of whips through there. There's a part of it where you can almost see a little bit of a lack of confidence on the pitching. Just I'm watching some videos from this year.
Yep,
he's seen some new stuff, but you start to see confidence where it's in rhythm and not like 2 parts. I think that's going to be something to look for mechanically. Yeah. That's really going to add a lot there.
The bat speed is dumb.
Yeah, I'm a buy on him. I think the value's there. He's a little bit pricey, not crazy though. So I'm in.
Yep. Drew Jones, number 1 pick in the draft. No, number 2 pick. Jackson Holiday was number 1.
$8.1 million bonus.
Yep. Daddy is Andrew Jones, borderline Hall of Famer, would have been if he hadn't
6 gold
played
gloves,
his way
8
out.
gold gloves.
10 in a row.
Oh, 10 in a row.
Yeah.
I think right now we know for sure that he brings that to the field like his father.
Defensively, yeah, I don't disagree.
What I'm not sure about.
Kid can't hit.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say he can't hit.
His swing is broken.
I wouldn't. It looks
Does
like.
his swing not look it's in 2 pieces?
Which swing?
That's my point. It's all over the place.
It is all over the place. Here's the weird thing, though. So with his frame, I mean, he's 6'4". He's really rail thin. He's going to have a big looping swing if he's going for power, and that back right shoulder drops quite a bit when he starts to swing. It just creates blind spots.
He's so out in front of everything.
So I'll just kind of leave it at that. I think for me, I'm absolutely selling him. The market's hot for him right now, and if he struggles a little bit this season, you could borrow.
Struggling. I'm not sold.
I'm talking to Gary. You got to chill. You're too excited.
I am. I'm excited.
But I think, I would be selling maybe a borrow, maybe a buyback if it was a little cheaper. I just don't think we can see much. That's what I'm picking up too. He had an injury, right? Was it this last year?
It was last year.
Shoulder injury. Yeah. So we'll see what he's able to provide. So far, he's riding that struggle bus. He's not doing too well.
He's this year's Khalil Watson to me. He won't have the emotional meltdowns.
Yeah.
But the overall package, he's this year's Khalil Watson. The question becomes, does he have the mental makeup to recover from that? Or does his confidence just get absolutely crushed? Because it's really tough for a kid to have been the man their whole life. And then all of a sudden, they're one of the worst players on the field.
Yeah.
And he's in that boat right now at the plate. It's hard to watch. Yeah. If you understand baseball, know what to look for in a swing, go watch Drew Jones, and you'll want to sell his stuff too.
Yeah.
He's not even a buyback for me right now.
Yep. Okay, you go ahead.
Now, I know how to pronounce the last name. I've heard the first name pronounced two ways, Josu and Hosu.
I was guessing Josue.
Yeah, so Josu DePaula, Dodgers prospect. He is a hot prospect right now, mostly because of bloodlines. He's cousins with Steph Marbury.
Yep, Steph Marbury.
Now, he's a heck of an athlete. He really seems to have pretty good plate discipline, but he's making a whole lot of weak contact right now. Just for me, he's a sell, and he's not a borrow. Although I guess he could potentially become a borrow.
I am crazy about this kid.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. I kept watching at bats. Here's what was unique. So a lot of scouting videos, you're watching for contact. You're watching for the hit.
Yeah, zone contact. Yeah, what's the hit tool look like?
This kid, I found myself watching him get inside the head of the pitcher. I found myself watching him throw off the timing of the pitcher. I saw him making really tough decisions on off-speed pitches to defend the plate and just crack it out of bounds and go 8 pitches deep on the count. He's playing with the discipline of somebody much older than him.
You just described Miguel Vargas.
He has tremendous discipline there. Here's the other thing. Do not call me blasphemous. Let me finish the thought before I do, okay?
All right.
If you play his swing over and over, a lot of minor league players are going to have some similarities, but it's not the same thing. This is like watching something that this is like a Freddie Couples swing. Okay? Smooth, just repeatable. Efficient, repeatable, and he makes good decisions. His plate discipline is special for his age.
He's only 17. He's a young kid.
He's skinny, and he's 17, but he's 6'3". Well,
so there's beef.
I agree with you on the power, but I had 2 pluses. I think it's he's a very smart player. The blasphemous thing I was going to say is if you watch how pure it is, it will remind you of what you felt sometimes when you would watch the kids.
No, don't say it.
And here's what I mean by it. It was so effortless. Like you never felt like he was swinging hard. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but
it's not a violent swing.
I'm not going to feel that way until I see him hit 460 like the kid used to.
That's fair.
Because right now he makes that swing, and
it's a contact swing.
If it's in the air at all, it's a 330-yard deep, 330-foot deep fly ball.
I'm just saying, for me, he's a buy. I think he's going to surprise people. I think because of how old is he?
17.
That's like there's nobody. Unreal plate discipline. And a really good discipline in his mechanics and swing, which tells me the kid is super coachable and eager to develop. I'm a big buy on him.
See, the guy that's next on our list that's how I feel about him.
You're gonna hate my notes.
Gabriel Gonzalez, Mariners prospect, 18 years old. The Mariners. So for Bowman this year, the Mariners might be the best value team that there is. They're in that second borderline third tier of teams that you can get in case breaks for less than $200 for the most part. And they've got 4 guys who are all high variance guys but if one of them hits, you're going to make your money. Gonzalez is the one for me that I think is most likely to do that. He is not only, he's young, but he's not what you just described with the two guys prior. These skinny kids where you have to kind of project their frame. I think Gabe Gonzalez is kind of what he is physically. Decent power. The hit tool is fantastic. The hit tool is plus, borderline plus. His peak is probably I'd say if I'm putting a grade on the kid right now, the hit tool is 45 current, 55 future. Power is 45 current, 50 future. Glove is 50 current, 55 future. You're talking about a guy who is a borderline perennial all-star type player. Anytime you have 3 or 4 tools that are average to plus, and one of them being a hit tool, and that hit tool as an 18-year-old, by the time he's 20, could be a plus tool. It could be a 60 future hit tool. He has a small strike zone because he's not a big guy. He's able to move the ball all over the field. He's not a dead pull hitter. I really, really like the kid, but obviously you don't have the same feelings that I
don't.
Do. Okay.
I don't. 5'10", 165. I do agree with the build. He does have raw power. He needs way better conditioning. I think he's going to struggle in fielding based off of what I'm seeing. And then there's going to be a little bit of a trade-off here because mechanically someone that's 6'3" has some advantages as a power hitter over somebody 5'10".
But they also have much longer
Let
levers.
me talk. Yes, thank you. So as because they're going to make him address that to become a better fielder, which is going to enhance his profile in the league, right? As he loses weight, he's going to lose some of that power too. That's something that there was actually a few guys that were talking about that. But the note I made was power swing only every pitch. He
swings hard.
It's a big swing, and he's ripping hard at the ball. So if the contact rate is there, then that's a good thing. If plate discipline is lacking, which is some of what I was seeing, but honestly, these scouting videos, you're getting the 2 at-bats they recorded and then on to the next thing. But I'm a little bit concerned with in the same way that I had an aversion to who's the Milwaukee kid.
Churio?
No.
Weimer?
It's not the same swing, but it's the same feeling like they have bad intentions with every swing. Nothing wrong with that.
Ellie's the same way though.
Okay. I would say very different build for Ellie.
Well, of course.
Yeah,
but here's the thing with
this isn't a debate. This is my review.
I know. At a certain point though,
if you played MLB The Show and only go for power swings, you're going to hit some dingers.
I hit
There's
a lot of dingers.
There's going to be a lot of outs.
So here's the thing with a kid like Gabe Gonzalez though. One, he plays for the Modesto Nuts right now, which makes me happy. That's just a cool team name. So he has, so far this year, 67 at-bats. He has no home runs. He's hitting .373 with a .926 OPS. Now, here's where you get to see, because that's a relatively small sample size. You could go, He's got 507 career minor league at-bats. Career average .316 with 14 home runs and an almost 900 OPS, 890 OPS. At a certain point, it's a lot like Alec Thomas with the Diamondbacks. You got this little dude, and you're like, what in the world? But at a certain point, you just have to go, well, I guess it really doesn't matter what it looks like or whatever else. The kid just hits the baseball and he hits in the air and he keeps
producing, he's going to be just fine. Versatility would be a concern. I think it's conditioning and how that could affect power. But I wouldn't be surprised if that swing looks a little bit different over the next year to 2. I wouldn't be surprised if it's shortened up.
And that's fine. If you shorten that swing up.
A lot going on in the upper body.
You're going to lose a little bit of power, but I don't think power is going to be his calling card anyway.
Yep.
I mean, if you can hit 320, 325 with a 900 OPS in the majors, you don't have to hit 30 jacks. Yep. So Gabe Gonzalez, we have differing opinions on. We've got 2-3 guys we've been in that boat with so far. Next guy. Now this is digging deep.
I love this one.
This is digging deep because his stuff is dirt cheap in this product.
Yep.
Okay. Frederick Ben Cosme.
You want me to start?
Orioles. Yes, please.
Okay.
20 years old.
Here's a fun thing. 10K signing bonus.
Yes. Some of those guys end up being the best.
Here's another fun stat for you. Batting .311 over 117 games at 4 different levels.
Yes.
He defends the plate. Mm-hmm. He is going to make contact with the ball. Strikeouts will take you 7, 8, 9, 10 pitches.
Reminds me of Luis Arias.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that. The only knock I had was he's going to have to add some power. I think he's going to have to focus on that. But he's just grinding, man. He's going to give pitchers a hard time. Mm-hmm. And he's going to be clutch because of how he hits.
And there's so much underrated value from a guy who can wear a pitcher out.
And programs are going to want to move somebody up that's consistently doing that.
Yeah. And for me, the Arias comp is a really good one. Another guy who does
a side note, Frederick's going to put 30 pitches on the starter.
Right. Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's so much value in that. Like, if you're the 2-hitter, right, and you can add 10 or 15 pitches to a pitcher's workload across 2 at-bats, and you're in Baltimore, now all of a sudden the guys behind you, Adley Rutschman and Ryan Mountcastle, who have big power, have an advantage. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of value in that a lot of people don't think about in the game of baseball. Arias is the guy who's to me is a really good comp. Now, Arias has proven at the major league level he's going to win batting titles. He's also not going to hit but 10 or 12 home runs. Mm-hmm. And I think this kid could be very, very similar. Is he going to do what Arias has done and hit 365 across the whole major league season? Maybe not. But I do think he's a guy who's probably a close to career 300 hitter.
And you know who might have some colored parallels in the $1 and $2 boxes?
Oh, this guy. Yeah.
Buy him.
Yeah.
Buy him.
This dude's cheap, and he's the floor is very high.
Yep. Go ahead with the next one.
Tony Blanco Jr., another 17-year-old.
Yeah.
So this is not a future comp, what I'm getting ready to say. Okay, this is not me making a future comp. This is me.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
This is me comparing a player at 17 to a similar type of hitter when they were in the low minors.
Willie Mo Pena.
Aaron Judge.
I know, yeah.
It's either gonna go a long way or he's gonna fall down. He swung so hard.
I watched this swing, and no, hold on.
I'm listening.
I was like, my God, it's beautiful. And then I watched another home run. I was like, I love it so much.
Yeah.
And then the next one, this moment happened for me. I was like, wait a minute. Where have I felt this before? I've had this exact same feeling about a swing. Oh, yeah. It was Aquino with the Reds.
Yeah.
It's very similar. And now this guy's 6'6", what is it, 245. Crazy power is what I wrote down.
17 years old.
It's
a full-grown man.
My notes say lots of distance, lots of strikeouts.
Yes. Yeah. Kyle Schwarber.
Yes. That's a great
Hit
one.
220 with 35 jacks and strike out 30% of the time.
He swings the bat like a sledgehammer.
Yes.
But yeah, I would say I sure am not a buy.
He's so cheap. The guys that have the gap between present value and potential future is what I always look for.
Sure.
So what's the 90th? So what's your not 100th percentile outcome, but 90th percentile outcome?
You know how deep you had to dig for
Tony Blanco?
Yeah.
You like that?
Well, I do, but he's going to have to make some moves.
Yeah.
In a reasonable time frame. So it may be more of a play for next year.
Well, he's 17.
Yeah.
I think we're probably 3 years away at a minimum.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at the gap from ceiling, like what do you think is...
The Aquino analogy scared me. I got, hey, by the way, any of you collecting Aquino out there, I got so many autos and rookies.
We won't know with this kid whether he can handle high spin stuff for another year or two.
Well, I can tell you right now he can't.
But the thing with guys like this is you're looking for that gap. So what's the 90th percentile outcome for Tony Blanco Jr.? Joey Gallo? 35 plus jacks.
It's a random one for those numbers, but yeah.
Strike out a lot.
Yeah.
Well, Gallo strikes out more than Schwarber. Yeah. Schwarber makes more quality outs than Gallo does. Like that's the 90th percentile outcome.
Yeah.
And a 90th percentile outcome of peak Joey Gallo's pretty good major league player.
Yeah. It could also be a Keno.
Yeah, he could also never get to the majors.
So maybe if you were I'm buying conservatively. You're saying sock it away for $100 and see what happens. You know,
you could probably get his autos for $5 or $6 right now.
Yeah. Well, I'd probably buy those.
Yes, that's my point. Like those are the guys that I'm looking for when I'm looking for guys to buy in Bowman.
I'm not super excited. I'm cautiously optimistic to watch him. I hope he's in the league because I think he's the type of hitter we need to see more of.
Yeah.
All right, you go next.
We got 2 left, and they're 2 of my.
We have 3 left.
Oh, we do have 3 left. I forgot. I almost skipped one. So this next guy is also a buy for me, even though his stuff is hot right now. I wouldn't be buying his autos or colors right now, but I would be stocking away base and high numbered colors like refractors.
I think this is the player that will create the most noise this year.
I don't disagree with you. And it's disgusting because the Rays are so loaded. Mm-hmm. But Junior Caminero is a freak show.
The word I wrote down as I was watching, I kept watching him.
He's a freak show.
He is a technician at the plate. Mm-hmm. Why am I using these these comparisons are going to be too dramatic. He places the ball with intention the way Ichiro would place the ball with intention. So
that's not a comparison to Ichiro. The way you phrased it is a perfect way to phrase it.
You know what? I'm going to apologize for the kid reference because I didn't do it justice. And you're right about that. But he has an open stance and a closed shoulder, which means he wants to see the ball, but he has so much bat speed.
And he's preloaded
that he can't. Most guys don't do that as much because it costs them time. Yeah,
their hands aren't quick enough.
If he sees a gap in a shift in the infield, he's putting the ball on the ground right there. Like, you know who else did this a lot? Pete Rose did this a ton.
But he has so much more power than either one of them. When he wants to put the ball in the air, it goes so far.
He places the ball everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
And he plays good defense. He's not great, but he's good.
He's going to hit for a crazy average.
And power.
And if he could be a 20 home run guy on top of that.
Oh, I think he's
really.
I think power wise, again, 90th percentile outcome, 290, 35, OPS of 940.
Yep.
So because he'll take walks too.
So this one for me is probably a borrow on the product. If I hit something big, as hot as he is, but man, it would be tough to sell it. Or I'm still a buy. I really think he's special.
I'm a buy the low end stuff, borrow the high end stuff.
Yep, I like that.
Buy the low end, borrow the high end.
All right. On to the next one.
He's special. You got the next one? Cam Collier?
Oh, yeah, I'll jump right in.
Yeah.
One big note. So I just think he's a well-rounded, solid baseball product. That's what I think you're seeing there. There's some things in his swings that look a little different, but I started seeing something in his follow-through and his rotation. If you pull up a YouTube video of Bryce Harper's prospect stuff, you know, Bryce Harper had a much smaller frame, and they wonder how he generated that kind of power. When he makes a rotation on his swing, it's almost like he lifts his whole torso up through it. And the parallels on the follow through between Cam's swing and Bryce Harper's are very similar. What that means is mechanically, you've almost perfected the full extension, which means all the power that you have is there.
Yeah.
So as he becomes stronger and gets a better eye and gets better contact, it's only going to improve. He is expensive right now. He's very, very expensive. Unfortunately, just because of that, I'm probably a sell if I opened it. And I would buy. I'm buying low end probably.
It's even expensive. Base crumbs are $6-7.
Yep.
He's the strongest borrow on this list for me.
Sure, I like that. What do you want to add to it?
Not a ton. I mean, everything you just said is pretty much there. My thing with Cam Collier is this. It gets said about baseball more than it does about other sports. But as somebody who loves baseball but played football, there are some guys when you're in a locker room, they're just football players, right? Like, they're just football players. They might not do anything that jumps off the stat sheet at you, but you want them in the trenches beside you. Cam Collier's just a hitter. Mm-hmm. He's just a hitter. He's going to make very good contact with the ball. He's already got plus raw power. He's going to figure out how to get to it in game. He's only 18 years old. There was a lot of back and forth whether he or Tamar Johnson was the best prep bat. I think Tamar Johnson probably slightly ahead as far as just compactness of swing and repeatability of swing, but as far as just being able to put the barrel of the bat on a ball and place it, I think Cam Collier's ahead of him. Cam Collier's 2 years away. There's no rush with him in that system. The infield is already so loaded. But he is an absolute borrow for me. His stuff is expensive. If you hit something big, sell it, and when draft drops this year, buy it back for 50% of what you sold it for and hold it till he gets called up. Unless there's some kind of devastating injury, the kid's just going to be really good.
Why even say it?
I mean, it's the truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more.
Third favorite guy here, and also an extreme borrow. I will be buying all of his stuff back. I passed on buying some stuff of his in Cleveland last weekend because it's too expensive right now. But in 4 months, it won't be.
Who are we talking about?
Spencer Jones.
Sell him.
Are you out of your mind?
This might be my Davis Mills moment.
I think it is. Spencer Jones, 21. He will, if he's not up for a cup of coffee at the end of this year, he'll be up next year. 6'7", fast as all get out, can steal 25, 30 bags, has 70 grade raw power. Mm-hmm. He's probably 55 in game now, future 65. Hit tool is okay right now, probably a 45 current, 55 future.
I agree on power and speed. That swing is so long. And
it'll shorten up. The Yankees had to do that with Aaron Judge.
That's
the comp. Aaron Judge is the comp.
That's going to be okay. So mechanically much better than our buddy with the Pirates,
Tony Blanco.
Right?
Yeah. Well, he should be. He's 4 years older.
Just watching. I mean,
college.
My 10 minutes of experience on YouTube with him. Big long swing. I think he's got some development on shortening that up a little bit. I think if he figures it out, then this year is going to be huge for him.
Yep.
But that could take a little while. I think those big looping swings like he has, and even watch when he finishes his fall through, it almost looks like a golf fall through. It's way up here.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of guys hit
his
for power
swing's
like that.
Geared for lift.
Yep.
Like he's not trying to spray the ball. He wants to hit the ball in the air every time.
So he will be somebody that at this level, I think this is a year where people are adjusting to him, and they're going to be pitching in a way that's very, very tailored to give him trouble.
I'll be shocked if he's not, at a minimum, mashing AA by the end of the year. He might get to triple.
That'd be really cool. I think he's going to have to shorten that swing up to get there.
And I think...
I hope I'm wrong because I love...
And there's so much with the kid, like beyond just the baseball. His personality is really good. He's fun to watch.
Whose swing does it remind you of?
See, I know what you're wanting me to say, but I don't think it's that long. I mean, if you put a gun to my head and made me comp a swing currently, Byron Buxton.
That wasn't what I was going to say. Let me make sure I'm thinking the right person. Oakland A's.
Please don't say Sean Murphy because he's in Atlanta now.
Is it Matt Olson?
Matt Olson's also in Atlanta now. And if he's Matt Olson, sign me up.
Mechanically, that's what I'm seeing.
Sign me up if that's Matt Olson. If I can get 270, 35, 900, sign me up right now.
He's going to have to hit like that. I don't think he's there, but I think that's what that swing can be.
So you're talking about long, loopy swings. And that's Buxton. I mean, Buxton's got that long swing. It's why he strikes out so much.
I've got Olsen pulled up here on slow motion as you're talking. I just want to make sure this is the analogy I thought.
Now, once you look at Olsen, go look.
Huge stride.
Yeah, go look at Buxton and tell me if that's not closer. Go look at Buxton. Spencer Jones, and again, there's also when it comes to the investment side of the hobby, he's a Yankees prospect. And Yankees prospects are always going to sell for 15 to 30% more than everybody else.
It's Olsen. I think he's got the capability to be there with that.
Look
the
at Buxton's
extension
swing.
on the
Tell
follow
me if I'm
through.
not right.
Anyway,
you're not going to check.
I was nerding out about hitting.
Okay.
You want me to do this right now?
No, you don't have to right now.
Well, you just made it sound like I had to do it right now.
Next week you can just tell people I was right.
Yeah.
It's cool.
I told you were right once today. We're not doing it twice. All right. This has been a fun episode.
Yeah, you enjoyed a prospecting episode.
I did. It's crazy what happens when you prepare. This has been the Ball Card Show, the sports podcast.
For the sports collector.
Peace.
Out. Stole my line.